Hello and welcome to episode 51 of Let's Run Facebook Ads podcast with me, Nick Boddington. Today, I'm going to be introducing the 6 new ad objectives and why this is super positive. But remember, if you're struggling and you just don't know what to decide when it comes down to creating an ad, do you use conversions or do you use traffic or do you use awareness, then you need to come and check out the Ads Clinic. On there, if you go to the landing page of theadsclinic.com, you can subscribe to 30 minutes with me free of charge to get you going. Let's have a look at your ad account. Let's see what you're doing wrong. Let's have a look at what your goals are. And if you like the outcome of that, then you can come and join me and have me as a consultant to run your ads with you, teach you how to get them going, and you can have the success that we all have when we know what we're doing. So that's the adsclinic.com. Now let's get right into this podcast. Hello and welcome to episode 51. Yeah, it's me again, Nick Boddington. So today we are going to discuss the 6 new ad objectives on Facebook. Now, I don't know whether I'm just I'm not really good at this because I'll tell you why, is because before I started doing this, I thought, okay, I need to give you guys a date of when this is happening because you'll all listen to this, go racing into your ads manager, and you'll go, hold on a minute, nothing's changed. It hasn't, I know. I know of this because Facebook have contacted me and told me about this. I've done some research and blah, blah. But when I've just literally Googled it to say, I think I put into Google, when do the new 6 ad objectives start with Facebook? I can't find anything on this subject. I can't find a start date. I can't find anyone else talking about it. But I have legitimately, this is happening because I've had word that it is happening. And I know the difference in those ad objectives, which is what I'm going to go over with you today. If I dreamt this, it's either a really very powerful dream and I need to listen to myself more, or I've got it completely wrong, but I haven't. Trust me. I'm a doctor. Remember, I'm a doctor. Right. So we usually have, and what I mean by ad objectives for all those who are thinking, I don't know what he's talking about, is when you press that green button on the left-hand side of your ads manager to create a new ad, you get 11 little ad objectives pop up. And those objectives are, I haven't written them down. I'm going to go in there right now. Let's click create. And they are brand awareness and reach, traffic, engagement, app installs, video views, lead gen, messages, conversions, and catalog sales. Now you know where I'm talking. It says choose a campaign objective. Now you all know what I'm talking about. Right. They are getting rid of these 11. Now, why do I think they're doing that? And why do I think it's a good thing? I'm going to go over that, but just to give you a little bit of an insight, Apple's kind of messed this all up. I mean, you all know what's been going on with iOS 14, now 15. To be fair, in our agency, I'm not in a worried position. I know it's a different way of working. We're leaving ourselves now 7 days after we've started an ad before we even make any decisions on the data that's coming through, unless we see something that's completely not working. But, we just leave things longer. Things take longer to optimize. There are lots of little hacks out there of things going on. But overall, if you're working on your creative and you're working on making sure that your ad resonates with the chosen audiences and you're doing this all properly and your quality is there, Facebook is going to reward you with lower costs. Now, this could be a podcast that lasted for a whole day. We'll talk about the data coming back through and what Google's saying. Yeah, it's where we are as an agency. We are all over at the moment. We are pulling our hair out with it, but we are still getting really good return on investment for the spend that we spend on this platform. So it's all good. Why do I think they're splitting it down from 11? Because the data's that they're tracking just isn't as good as it used to be. And they're trying to do everything they can to get the tracking back to being good, back to being amazing, and also to deliver what we need as an advertiser. Otherwise, if we're not going to get the returns that we want, and we're not going to get the success that we want, then we are just literally going to be starting to look around at different platforms. So I still see massive results, really good success. This morning we're on our in-house call in the morning, and having some amazing charities, getting some really good donation stuff going on. Just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But Facebook has to tidy it up for everyone. Now, there are a couple of things I'm going to go over. So I'm going to look at the ad objectives now, and we're also going to look at targeting because that's changed as well. Now, let's start with the ad objectives. So those are the 11 that we had. What we're going to now come down to are the 6. Awareness. So before we had awareness and we had reach. Now we've only going to have awareness. Now, this is basically to reach the largest number of people who are likely to remember your ad. Now, if anyone asked me what the difference between awareness and reach was, there wasn't a huge difference. Awareness is basically Facebook saying that it knows that someone is going to remember your brand or remember your ad. Now, that's what they class as awareness. With reach, how I used to use it would be that we would use reach as retargeting to an audience. So we'd build an audience at top of funnel, and then we retarget that audience using, even if we wanted to try and get leads from them or we want to get purchases from them, we would use a reach campaign because you had control over how many times someone saw the ad. So there's something in there you could actually say, I want the audience to see my ad at least 3 times in a 7-day period. Now that was quite helpful and we had some good success with that, but it's gone. So there's no point me talking about it. So awareness is staying there. So that allows you to put an ad out there and it's going to show to people who are likely to remember your ad. Okay. So good thing for top of funnel. And if you're really wanting to, put an ad out there to get good amount of awareness on it, get lots of people seeing it for a lower price. Traffic. We all know traffic. We all get confused with traffic. And I think throughout this whole podcast, when I'm talking, when I do shows, I'm always talking about it's the wrong objective to go for, whether you're trying to get lead generation or you're trying to get purchases. But that's not to say it worked years ago. Okay. 3 years ago, that actually worked. You could send traffic to an e-commerce shop and get orders. And what's been happening over the time is that sending traffic basically gets you link clicks and then nothing really happens on the website. So if you're wanting to get some vanity metrics of, testing out your website, getting a load of traffic to it, but nothing really comes from it, traffic was always the one to get. But I'm hoping that Facebook can start tidying this up a bit and really not just sending people there who just click on ads and then bounce as soon as they get to the landing page. We're not interested in that. And maybe because all advertisers who know what they're doing are you not using this, if people I talk to, we all agree with the same thing, then surely Facebook are probably thinking the same sort of thing. So I'm hoping that traffic, so at the moment, what it basically says is send people to a destination like your like your website, your app, or a Facebook shop. Facebook shop, clear messaging here that Facebook are doing everything they can to keep people on the platform. That I repeat this all the time. Facebook's objective, its main objective, is to keep a user on Facebook for as long as possible. They want to stop that user from going to TikTok, even going to Instagram or going to Snapchat or going to other websites or going to Amazon. They want everything. All these big platforms, they're all against each other and they're all wanting Joe Blogs to stay on their platform. So that's, the fact that they're saying that they want to get people into the Facebook shop is telling me that I'm hoping they're clearing the app. So cleaning up their app. I can't speak. Cleaning up their act is that when they send someone to a Facebook shop, that person could actually buy something opposed to just bouncing. Okay, so that's traffic. I'm hoping it goes back to how it used to be, and it used to work really nicely. Engagement. Find people likely to interact with your business online, shares, comments, messages, and video views. Now, what we used engagement for is a way of having an ad that is starting to work or working, but we want more social proof on it. So you used to be able to I say used to, I need to verify this, but Katie in my team, she was trying to create an engagement ad. So there's an ad running. Let's say you've got an ad running in your account, it's running nicely, but you haven't got many likes on it. So when people are seeing it online, there's what we call social proof is, they have a quick glimpse subconsciously of how many likes on this, especially a shopping one, to say, well, if 2 people you're saying, oh, this is the this is the best product since sliced bread and only 2 people have liked it. That's not great social proof. So what we're trying to do is create social proof. So we've got that product ad going, it's going really well. We go into view the ad, and in our URL, can't speak today, guys, I'm really sorry. In our URL, there's an ad ID. We take those digits of the ad ID, we create a new engagement ad, and where we go to the ad page, we can actually open up and build an ad based on an ad ID. Now, I've always known this to work. Katie said she was struggling with one of our clients. I'm hoping they haven't taken it away. I can't confirm that right this moment in time, but it's one way that we use engagement, is to create social proof. Brilliant way of doing it. Leads. So leads, find people interested in your business who are likely to share their contact information. Now, what we've done today, or still doing, is we use the conversion objective. And in the conversion objective, we then choose our pixel and what we want to do. So do we optimize it for purchases? Do we optimize for add to cart, initiate checkout? Do we optimize it for leads? So that was the way we used to go in. That's one way of doing it. Now, there was also lead generation. Now, I can't, I'm not too sure exactly how this is going to work at the moment. So lead generation currently in Facebook is when you use Facebook's online form. So you can go into your forms library, you can create a form, you can have some questions in that form, and you put it out there. And the reason Facebook do that is because they want people to come along in the app. They want, if you're trying to get someone's information or you're trying to get someone to fill in a form on your website, whatever, it stops that user from having to leave the app, go to a landing page. It means that they can just press learn more, or they can press sign up now, and it opens up in Facebook, will pre-fill your form with their name, address, and telephone number. That person checks the details and then submits it and becomes a lead to your business. You can then go into the back end of Facebook and into the form area and get those leads. Now, the way that we work at the moment is we test both ways out, but we generally find that the quality is not as good when you use on Facebook forms as it is when you send people to a landing page that you've built to fill in their details and upload it, because they have to do more things. If it's made that, when it's made that easy, yes, you get the quantity, but you don't really get the quality. And we haven't found one success story yet where someone has found Facebook forms better for quality. So at the moment, I don't know whether Facebook leads is a way of optimizing to send people to a landing page where they can fill in your own form, or whether that is like leads generation currently, where it is a form within Facebook. Okay, so at this moment in time, not too sure what's happening there. App promotion, simple as it is, there's not loads. We don't work with loads of clients who do apps. I'm not sure many of our listeners are app companies, but if you are, it's basically a way that you can send people to download or install an app, and you can choose, installation on iOS, or you can choose installation on Google. So that is what app promotion is. Lastly, number 6 is sales. Find people likely to make purchases or take other important actions online or in a store. Now, this is where I think it is more like the way that's described is that it will continue. Sales is just conversions. So rather than it saying conversions, which seems to be confusing people, maybe this is what it is. So when we go to our, James and I do our shows, and we go on, little stages and just talk about this sort of stuff, that when people coming up to us asking us questions, the most common one is how to optimize. So we're always having to explain, and with my consultancy, always having to explain that you need to use the conversions ad objective opposed to traffic. Maybe Facebook have just found that most people are confused with it. They've made it it's not, a conversion. If you're in this arena, you know what a conversion is, but to new small businesses and who've got their own business to cut, it's just learning something else. I think it can just be a little bit too in depth and just isn't simple. Sales is keeping it simple. If you see an ad objective and it just says sales, that's going to be a way of you getting sales and purchases and things. So I'm hoping that will carry on. So you press sales, you literally choose your pixel, and you can choose how you want to optimize it for purchases or for leads. So I'm still hoping that the two are different. We've got sales, because this is the most important part of these ad objectives is, yeah, we touch on all these other ad objectives, but leads and purchases are the most important. So I'm hoping that leads is still kept as a Facebook form, and sales is a lead of your own, like your own website lead or a purchase on your e-commerce shop. So that's where we are. Now, when are these happening? I have no idea. Facebook's not told us any more about it. We've not got any marketing emails about it, nothing. And as I said at the beginning of this, when I Googled it, there was nothing there afterwards. So an absolute pain. I can't tell you anymore. Before I finish, let's have a look at detailed targeting. Now, what I mean by detailed targeting is basically where you choose your audience interest from. So after you've created an ad and you've chosen your ad objective, you go onto the ad set page, and in the ad set page is where you choose your audience. So you'll see there that you can choose your location, you can choose your age demographic, male or female in the gender, and underneath that you have detailed targeting, which is choosing your interests, like you want to get to fitness people or people interested in running or dogs or cats. Okay, so I think you all know where I'm talking about now. Now, under there, you may or may not have noticed, but for however long I can't remember, there's been a button called audience expansion. And that's a little tick box which you could tick on and off. Now, the difference between ticking on and off, let's say there are 30, let's say there's 30 million people in a particular, like, let's say you've put in 25 to 55 age group, male and female, in the UK, and 30 million people have popped up. Now, what would normally happen if you had audience expansion turned off would be that the minute you put an audience in of, say, let's say that audience is fitness, that would drop down to like 7 million. Okay, so it would go from 30 down to 7 million. Now, if you then wanted to put, you wanted to narrow that down by they're interested in fitness and they're also interested in Gymshark, which means you're narrowing the audience, which you can still do, it would then drop down to 3 million. Now, let's say you're trying to get to 1 million. So you also put in there, narrowed it down and said, and they're engaged shoppers, and it got down to 1 million. So you've gone from 30 million people, you've had 3 different interests in there, not in the same thing, but you've narrowed it down to go either fitness and must be interested in Gymshark and must be interested in engaged shoppers, and you ended up with 1 million. If you then pressed audience expansion on, it would then jump up to probably 10 million, not 30, just up to 10. And the explanation underneath is Facebook saying, if we can find people outside of your chosen interests that may want to see your ad, or essentially we can get a purchase from or a lead from, whatever, do you want us to show our ad to those people? So that's basically saying there's 1 million people who definitely want to see your ad in your interest base. Facebook there's another 9 million out there that Facebook says, if I come across someone and they look pretty interesting and I think they'll like to see your ad, do you want me to show them? Yes, we do. And a lot of the time we put audience expansion on. But when we're trying to figure out audience sizes and things like that, because, by putting these things in, sometimes you do drop right down in audience size. Facebook's now taken audience expansion off. The button's not even there. So if it says 30 million people, even when you put in interests of Gymshark and fitness, it still says 30 million people, which is really, really unhelpful, especially when you're an agency, because we are trying to tell our customers potential audience sizes and things like that, and for our own knowledge of wanting to know what audiences we should be going into. But we can't do that now. It comes up really, really high because it's a continuous expansion on. So nothing I can at the moment, I can't really help you with that. The way I would say is still trust Facebook. What we've got to do now, and Facebook's been saying it for years, and my agency is built around trusting Facebook. There are a lot of media buyers out there that I follow, and they're on LinkedIn, and they're all moaning about iOS 15. It's like, get over it, guys, a long time ago. Rather than moaning about it, let's look at the success we can bring out of it. Let's learn all the different techniques. Let's get our creative better. Let's get our hooks better. Let's get our copy better. Let's get our whole nurturing up, rather than just going, hey, let's just go out and get a sale every 2 minutes. Let's nurture these. So in marketing 101, it's all about showing people your brand, getting them to like you and trust you, and then they'll think of buying from you. That is what marketing is all about. That is what us as an agency and what I talk about on this podcast all the time. What iOS 15 and 14 has done is the people who can't be bothered and they just want to just throw an ad out there and try and get a conversion, is they're finding it really hard. And it's starting to, show a lot of negativity on it. If you're doing everything right, you will be all right. So even though you can't still put in your interests of fitness and Gymshark, they're still going to be in there. Facebook needs us as advertisers. Okay, this is all really, really simple. The most important person to Facebook is the user, the person like you and me who are using Facebook in the evening to see what our friends are doing, or whatever. They're trying to keep us on the platform the longest. Second is the advertisers. Now, it's very simple. If you put out rubbish, Facebook goes, well, you're not getting an engagement. The audience aren't interested in anything that you're trying to promote, and your ads look rubbish. We are going to put your prices up, put your CPMs up, click-through rates are going to be rubbish, your CPM click-through costs are going to be huge. You go, this is ridiculous, and you turn your ads off. That's all Facebook's trying to do. The other way around is you spend some time thinking about what your audience wants to see, communicating with your audience, nurturing your audience, getting the audience to trust you and value you. Your costs with Facebook will come down and you will have successful advertising. Do that, and Facebook will put your ads in front of those people in fitness, even though it says there's 10 million of them, will put your ads in front of those people and you will get success from it. Along with these ad objectives that we've just gone through, where they're trying to, the overall thing for Facebook that I think is happening now is Facebook's asking us as advertisers to put more trust. It's saying, guys, if you go and get the right creative, you think about what the audience wants and you communicate them properly, I will get all this back for you in the right way and make your advertising successful. That's quite as simple as it is. So don't be lazy on this. Really think about how you're going to communicate with your audience, and think that Facebook is there to hold your hand. As long as you do the right things, Facebook will do the right things back for you, and it can still be successful. Forget all these negative. If you read anything that's negative on these report on Instagram or Facebook, and how everything's just rubbish and changing, just ignore it. Just stay true to the path that you're on of making your advertising good, speaking to your audience well, showing them what they want to hear, not trying to get their wallet out from their pocket straight away, and just nurture them in nicely, getting them to like you and trust you and know you, and you will be successful. That is the podcast for now. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it takes from that. Obviously, if you're following us on social media, we'll let you know when as soon as these ad objectives start coming in. What usually happens, Facebook starts bringing it in, and we don't see all these things at the same time. It just happens as we go along. I hope that helps, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.